All right, we live. Let's go. All right. So, today we are getting into how to convert more leads with your business. All right. So, y'all know me. We going in right now. So, this is the scenario. All right. You have this amazing business. You are getting referrals in your business, right? You're sustaining because you have these amazing referrals. But the problem is on the back end, you're doing everything manually. You don't have anything automated, and you're not bringing in leads, and the leads you're bringing in, you're not converting because they're falling through the cracks for whatever reason, right? That's most of our scenarios until it's identified that we need to fix our systems, right? So, when we talk about converting more leads, number one, you have to definitely have that lead generation system set up first. So, what's a lead generation system? It's just your ability as the business owners to automatically bring in leads, because what we don't want to be doing is manually out here. Nobody really uses business cards. So, if you think about it, you think about giving someone your business card, but digitally, and then continuing to nurture and reach out to that person automatically, right? So back in the day, that process would look like I go to a networking event, and when I'm at the networking event, I'm handing out business cards for people to contact me, right? And then they give me their business cards, and now we have this pile of business cards. I think I got a pile of business cards. Y'all know I'm all about the visual. Um, we had this pile of business cards, right? This a little pile, but it's a pile. Okay, this a pile of business cards. And so with the pile of business cards, what do you do when you get back from that networking event? You go through your business cards. People even teach you to write on the back of your business cards. Okay, write something about them on the back of the business card. So you write on the back of the business card, and then you come back home and you take all these business cards and you put them in a database, and then you start reaching out to each person, whether it's you're calling them, whether it's you're emailing them, whether you're texting them, whatever you're doing. That's usually the process. But what we want to do is change that old way of doing things and make that automatic, right? So what we want to do is if we're at a networking event, we want to have them pull their phone out and maybe scan a QR code, right? And so once they scan a QR code, now all the number one, they enter your system automatically and it's automatically set up, right? So then once they do that, you send them a message back, you're standing right there, and it's like, hey, you can set it up prior to the event. Hey, I met you at such and such networking event, blah blah blah, and whatever you're going to say in there. Then the next day you send them another message, and then the next day and the next day, and however many days you want to send them information. This number one keeps you in their mind even after everybody who called that stack of business cards are done calling, right? So after they're done calling, if they even get that person on the phone, after they're done calling, then they're able to you're able to continue to send them messages like, wow, this person is sending me texts and emails, and you can even pop a video in there that's really, really effective, to send somebody a video, and they'll be like, wow, this is somebody I really want to work with, um, as well. So that's an amazing lead generation system, right? But what happens is once we set that first initial contact up, we don't continue to nurture them. We don't continue. So that's where the converting more leads come in. So we need to convert more leads. One strategy is to do challenges, right? So if you do challenges, you met this person like, hey, I'm having this challenge. They can get in at a low barrier of entry, and you can position yourself as the expert. So now, not only have you went to a networking event, you have this person's attention because you're continuing to send them messages. You're continuing to send them your automated process because nobody else has this, right? Nobody else has this strategies. These are strategies I come up with. I have not seen it. And if you see it, they stole it from me. But this is the strategy because nobody cares about your business cards. They don't. You would come outside and see your business card on the floor. They fall out of people's hands. They fall out of people's purses, pockets. Nobody is using business cards. So when somebody asks for your business card, you say, pull your phone out and have them scan your QR code. Now you lead them down the path of, okay, hey, I'm having this challenge. You can get into my challenge here. Now, definitely there needs to be a strategy for cold audiences because challenges are paid, right? Unless you're doing a free challenge, cool. There needs to be a strategy in between there with your follow up to that, which would be probably a series of training videos or something super, super impactful to make them want to pay you at that short period of time, if it's a short period of time. But what you do is you send them that, okay, I have this challenge. Now, in your challenge, you want to make sure that you've done what you need to do. You've done the strategy. You've done you set your challenge up in enough time so that you can market, so that you could prepare, and around any event. So if you have some events coming up like, ooh, I'm presenting on this event, I need to make sure that I have the challenge done. So when I present, they could just sign up for the challenge and everything happens on the back end. And you want to make sure you have your offer ready, right? So when we say convert more leads, you can convert more leads with your challenge itself. Because if you've ever attended a challenge, you come out of that challenge with a bunch of notes, a transformation, and it's made impact and actionable steps that you can take right now. Right? Right now, you can take these actionable steps and it can move the needle in your business. So, when you're planning your strategy, you want to think about that. What can I give them that can make them move the needle right now? Right? So, when I do a challenge, it's on system setup. That's all I'm about, system setup. Okay, yes, I know a host of other things, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about setting up your system for success, right? So that it successfully works for your business, and that it's converting leads on the back end, right? So, in doing this, with that lead generation workflow, you want to make sure that what you're giving them is impactful. It has to be impactful, it has to be value, and they have to be able to take action. So, when we talk about converting more leads, well, how do I figure out what to set up? How do I figure out what I need to implement in my lead generation workflow? Well, what is your business? What are you offering? So this goes back to my teaching about setting up lead magnets, the peel to the pain point. This lead generation workflow is a lead magnet. It's the peel to the pain point. So whatever you would put in that lead magnet, this would be what you would be sending for value, right? So my audience, I need you to understand that you need to build out your processes first, right? I need you to understand how important it is to build out your processes before you jump into systems, because you'll have a process that doesn't fit the system you're trying to put it in, right? So I'll give you a prime example. To do a challenge, yes, you could put that challenge in another system. You could put that challenge in one system, right? Let's just say MailChimp, for instance. Can MailChimp carry the emails needed for a challenge? Yes, it can. What is your offer? Oh, my offer is a coaching program. It's going to be 6 weeks, and we're going to meet every week, and we're going to meet every week at 6, and you know, we're going to show up live on Zoom, blah blah blah. Well, that requires you to set up a reminder series, right? And so that reminder series needs to keep going for those 6 weeks. Well, let's just say you're meeting 6 weeks for 2 days. Say you're meeting on Monday and Wednesday. So that reminder needs to set up to go out every Monday and Wednesday. So, how easy is that to do in MailChimp? Well, it's really not, because for 6 weeks, you would need to set up six different email automations. Meaning, if you say, I want to set a reminder the day before, I want to set a reminder in the morning, I want to set a reminder hour before, I want to set a reminder 15 minutes before, and then I want to remind them that we're live. That's 4 emails plus the wait steps in between. So you would have to set that entire thing up 4 times. Nah, 6 times times two, 12. 12 automations you will have to set up. Can you duplicate them? Yup, but it's 12. And if you put dates in those emails, now you got to go in and change the dates in the one that you duplicated. It's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Okay. So when I tell you, do your processes first so that you can know what you need. So now you know what you need. Now you can look at the system and say, well, wait a minute. Can your system do this? Because how easy is it going to be? And make them show you. I could tell you it's not. It can't do it. ConvertKit can't do it. Kartra don't do it very well either. Why? Because I've tried it. Because I know that that is something that my audience is going to get into eventually. Because that doesn't just apply for coaching programs, it applies for memberships as well. So that is the importance. So that is one of the things that I would take and send to my audience. Like, hey, are you doing a coaching program? What system are you looking at? Well, did you know that if you picked this system, you would have to set up 12 email automations just to remind your audience? You should look at these systems if you're doing a coaching program. Now I've just gave immediate value to my audience, and then they're going to show up like, hey, this person really know, they just saved me all this money because I was going to buy a year. That's another thing. I was going to buy a year for this software, and then you're stuck with this software and you don't know what to do with it because it doesn't do what you need to do. Then you got to buy another software to accompany that, and now we have the whole duct tape train going of systems. Now, yes, when I first started, that was the thing, because that was all that was out here, because there was not one solution that would satisfy the needs for these different groups, and to be able to do these different things you had to have different systems, right? But that's not the case anymore as technology is evolving. So that's why you need to sit down and say, listen, this is my list of what I need. Okay. And if you don't know, then hire an expert. You can always book a strategy call with me. Always. So I'm giving you the rapid and the fast today so that we can get this going. All right. Now, once you identify what system you need for your challenge, now the setup can can start, right? But had you not started with the strategy and the offer, you wouldn't know that. And that is why that is the first three steps. It's the strategy, create your strategy, figure out the timeline of when you're going to do your challenge, and figure out what your offer is. That offer is important because the offer defines how the whole thing is set up. We're not talking about the strategy now, we're talking about the system from a system standpoint. It's different when depending on what that offer is, depending on the end result. Listen, I want these people to go in here. You want that transition to be easy. So that is why we use strategy first. That is why we do the PSA formula: process, strategy, automation, right? You always start with the process because you will get a system that does not work for you. So just please, if you don't take anything from this information, take that you need to start with the process first. Okay. The process comes first. I can't say that enough. Okay. I cannot say it enough. So, and the process comes first because you need to identify what system you need to put your business in. You cannot do it the other way. I also was on a call with a client who told me about somebody told them that they can start marketing without setting up a system. Time out. How? How can you market without a system in place? How? Please stop listening to people who don't know what they're talking about, or look at the integrity of the person. I think that's what it all boils down to. It boils down to the integrity. So, yes, I'm a systems person. Yes, I have my own software that I white label. If that software is not going to serve you, even though I get paid from it, I'm not going to tell you to get it. If you come to me and you have a system already set up that you're paying for, I am not going to make you get into my software because is that's what's best for you. It's what's best for you as the business owner, not what's best for me on the back end. Of course, I need to make money, but I also my integrity kicks in first over anything. So we want to make sure that we are talking to people who have integrity and aren't just trying to sell you something that they have, and they're not looking at your best interest as a business owner, your best interest, not theirs. I absolutely cannot stand Wix. I cannot stand it. But if my client has Wix and their full business is in Wix and they're already operating in Wix, they just need help, strategies, I'm not going to tell them you need to get rid of Wix and come over here. The only way you're going to hear me say that is if Wix is not going to do what you're trying to do. Yes, terrible. Wix is terrible. That is the only way you're going to hear me say that. I have a person right now and she can attest to that. She came to me with Wix and she had majority of her stuff set up in Wix. I said, "Listen, I can't stand Wix, but you need to figure out how to use the system you already have. Wix does all of the things that you're trying to do. You already are running Wix. Use the system you have to the maximum capacity. Now, when you start getting into something else, then that's different." Okay. Who don't even start with that.